What's up? I'm back again. Just want to send a special shout out to all the new subscribers. Thanks for liking the content. That Spider-Man ranking video is getting a lot of views and is doing really well. So thank you for your support and thanks for watching, and please share your thoughts in the comments. You know, all thoughts are subjective, but I welcome negative comments and positive comments as long as you're nice, okay? All right, so let's get into it. Iron Man, we're going to talk about the Iron Man Trilogy. And where does your harsh critic, where do I rank these Iron Man movies? We all know Iron Man is the face of the MCU. Even if he's not here no more, we still, the Marvel fans, want Iron Man in these movies. So let's just jump right into it. Which is the first or the worst Iron Man movie out the trilogy? You guessed it. Iron Man 3. Yup. I'm about to say Spider-Man. Iron Man 3. This movie was garbage. Now, it is a solo Iron Man movie, which I like. You know, there's no cringy Avengers in here. It's strictly about Iron Man and Pepper Potts, which I do dig that. But the pacing of this movie was just slow. It was trash. The whole scene with him and the little boy, that whole sequence was just dragging and dragging and dragging. It was boring. Only thing I really like about this movie is that it's a solo Iron Man movie with Robert Downey Jr. There's no other Avengers cringing and stuff like that. There's no cringy cameos and stuff like that. I thought the first action sequence was pretty good, and the third act was pretty good, but other than that, man, the movie was just boring, you know. But I do appreciate it now because it is a solo Iron Man movie, which, you know, has held up pretty well. You know, you can't deny that Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man is missed right now, but you know, it is what it is. Coming in next, we have, yes, Iron Man 2. Now, do I think this movie is a bad movie? Survey says no, I don't. I actually think this movie is pretty good for the following reason. First and foremost, it introduced a lot of new characters such as Black Widow and Hawkeye in a not so cringy way. It was just like everything was just so subtle. It also introduced Don Cheek as the new Rhodey, which honestly, I thought Don Cheek, I think he fed in kind of better than Terrence Howard. I really wasn't feeling Terrence Howard in the first Iron Man. I just thought he was miscast. But I think Don Cheek really sold Rhodey, made it believable. And, you know, he's introduced here. It just flowed right in. You can tell they had a better chemistry than Terrence Howard's Don Cheek, you know. So, I mean, Terrence Howard's Rhodey. And it also introduces War Machine, which is like the sidekick to Iron Man. And I thought that was done well in a not so cringy way. So overall, Iron Man 2 is a good movie, and it follows up from the first, in my opinion. I definitely enjoyed the third act. The only thing I didn't like about the third act, it just wasn't longer. You know, I wanted more. It seemed like it was kind of over kind of fast, but I thought the villain was kind of cool. Villains, mostly Marvel villains are mediocre except for Thanos, but I thought the villain was pretty decent for what the movie was going for. The movie kept you engaged and entertained, well, at least me, at all times, and that's why it's one of my favorite, MCU movies. It's not probably the best Iron Man movie, but it is up there. Just by the pacing and the overall story, and just the way that the new characters was introduced in a not so cringy way like they are now. It just seemed like they're just introducing characters just because, you know. So other than that, I think Iron Man 2 is a good film. And of course, which is the best one? Oh yeah, you guessed it. Iron Man 1, 2008. Yeah, this really set the foundation for the MCU. You know, Robert Downey Jr., Iron Man, was the face of the MCU and still is, believe it or not. Even though his character died off, he's totally missed, and his presence is totally felt throughout the MCU. This movie started the new generational superhero movies, and it seemed like every other director kind of bit off this, you know, especially like the first flight scene. You see that all the time with superheroes copying off of Iron Man. If they're not copying the exact thing like Iron Man, it's similar, just like Wakanda Forever and Blue Beetle, you know. So I would say Iron Man really set the foundation of, you know, of superhero flight scenes. It seemed like everybody's copying, and I would argue to say Zack Snyder probably copied just a little bit off this when he did Man of Steel First Flight, but he put it in his Zack Snyder flavor, because there was some things I noticed, like when Henry Cavill crashed, was like kind of reminded of Iron Man, but like I said, in a more Snyder style way. I mean, that's what I appreciate about directors. If you can put it in your own way, I'm cool with that. But if you copy the exact shit like Blue Beetle and Wakanda Forever, that's a no-go. That's a no-go. But other than that, Iron Man 1 is the best one. And I would arguably say Tony Stark's character had a little bit more masculine edge than he did when Marvel was bought by Disney. I think when Disney bought Marvel, it seemed like that's when you got the goofy, more conceited billionaire Tony Stark. He was more like masculine and determined in this movie, and it's just the overall tone of the movie was a little bit dark and serious, you know. And Tony Stark's character was serious. So this movie has a lot of weight to it. It also is a testament to Robert Downey Jr.'s life, because he was at a depressed state in this moment of time when he took this role. I think he was on the verge of committing suicide. He was doing a lot of drugs, and he didn't think he was going to live to like 2008. But once he got this role, he said it gave him new meaning in life, a new purpose in life, and it did, you know. So it also catapulted his career, because he's an A-list actor. Like, he wasn't getting like $30 million for a cameo and stuff like that, and that's why the Marvel had to kill him off, because he's unaffordable, you know. But this really catapulted his career to be an A-list actor, and it saved his life. You know, the dude was on the verge of suicide, and Hollywood didn't even want to give him jobs anymore. But when the director gave him this job, he seen something in Tony, and you know, that's a good testimony for Robert Downey Jr. But other than that, I think Iron Man 1 is one of the best superhero movies of all time. Does it beat The Dark Knight? I honestly don't think so. Dark Knight, to me, is going to be tough to beat, but in the MCU, this is probably like one of the top movies, and I'm going to do a ranking video on that once I watch them all. But I think this movie holds up really well. Iron Man 1 is a good movie. But what do you guys think about Iron Man? Do you think Iron Man 1 is the best one out the MCU? Do you think it's the best one that Robert Downey Jr. made? Do you think this can compete or beat The Dark Knight? You know, everything is subjective. Like, comment, and share your thoughts. And I will see you, in the next video. Peace.